Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you that is of the true crime nature. So it probably won't resonate for everyone, but we do have an interesting story kind of taking shape here where we've got some organized energy with beliefs that may be a little bit manipulative or questionable. We have a marriage or somebody that has been in a long-term relationship. And then I feel like we've got some clues or some information that is found in a landfill. So, interesting. Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a good day so far. Happy Friday. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is in the description box for you, but it is also just my full channel name at gmail.com, Wicked Ones Tarot. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Dana. In the description box, you can also find out how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. We do have an upcoming members only live stream for those that are in the stars and the towers, and that'll be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. All right, let's dive in and see what else we've got for you. This is the Tarot of the Nile. What else do we have? Two of Cups, Devil in the reverse, Queen of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. So it feels like this reading is centering on someone who had previously been a part of this group or, kind of been manipulated by someone here, but that they were able to realize that this connection was toxic or codependent or outright misleading in some way. So this is someone who left, right? They realized that this is not where they wanted to be, or that things were not what they were made out to be. So this is someone who chose themselves because they could see that there were problems in this, I'm trying to avoid using that word, in this group of people, this community. So I feel like this is the person who has information or who is looking for information because they suspect something has happened. Hello, Aja, how are you doing? Hello, Ajalish. I do sometimes do the personal questions at the end of general readings if we reach $15 in tips. Thank you, Rachel. Hello, King the Eagle. How are you doing? Let's see. So we've got the King of Cups in the reverse, and the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. There was a pretty big loss or setback that happened that caused a rift. I do feel like there's more than one, well, more than two people here that are arguing, right? So it's like there's a group involved. And as a result of somebody basically losing patience or feeling like something is like a personal affront, like I can't believe you would do that, possibly talking about what's going on here, right? This Queen of Cups seems to be the object of frustration here. Hello, Cashew. How are you doing? Yes, I do believe so. We have the Lovers and the Page of Swords. Yeah, I feel like this is someone who is providing insight or like giving an interview about what it was like to deal with this group of people. They chose to walk away. They have like evidence or clear understanding of what was going on, and there could have been some foul play. We have the Three of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this is someone who's been excluded, was kicked out, or is kind of like an antagonist by, like if you were to ask this group, they would say, you're a hater, right? But this is someone who has regained their stability, independence, and their like footing, right? After dealing with this situation. And I do think that most of the people that they had dealt with within this group of people, within this community, expected the Queen of Cups to come running back or to not do well. Hello, each words. Hello, MC, I do. Oh, is that a disappointment for you? Hello, Dina, how are you doing? Hello, Gnostic. So, because we have this inside information or this understanding of the inner workings of this group, and it could be broadcasted or shared with others, this King of Cups in the reverse, they're taking impulsive action to try to keep what is secret still secret. This is the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. Hello, Bra. Hello, Jordan. How's it going? Hello, Mavis. No. Please do not repeat questions, especially when they're trying to ask for my Instagram. Hey JW, you are welcome to be in the live chat as long as you are not trying to judge others, which is kind of what's coming through in your message. So if you want to come back, you might find that you have people here who believe the same as you, along with other things. Hello, Albert. Ah, your name's Carmen. That's me too. How are you doing? We've got the Queen of Cups in the reverse and the Two of Swords. So this person has insight into things that we would rather keep secret. We don't want people to take this Queen of Cups seriously. How can we cast doubt on what they're saying or what they are sharing with others so that we don't have any problems? So this could be someone who was married to, you know, a very important person within this group. So the information that the Queen of Cups would have could be fairly important. We'll put it that way, significant. We have the Fool in the reverse and Judgment in the reverse. There are people who advise the King of Cups in the reverse to not pursue or date this Queen of Cups because the Queen of Cups was seen as somebody who is maybe a little bit difficult or not easy to manipulate, right? Good morning, Grindhard. How you doing? Hello, Jamie. Hello, Switch fan. Thank you. That's important. Two of Wands and Eight of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, this is someone who's feeling like they should not have gotten involved with this Queen of Cups at all, that some, you know, group of people, maybe their family, maybe their friends, had advised them it was a bad idea. They did it anyways. But this Queen of Cups ended up basically just seeing what was wrong with this group, with this, you know, collective, if you will. And I don't know if they were like legitimately just investigating and doing so undercover, or if this was somebody who had a change of heart while they were in the midst of it. But they ended up being pretty quiet about how they felt or what they were judging so that they could get access to more information. And they got a lot. Look at all those books. I feel like they have records that are pretty significant in terms of legal consequences. So receipts or even, you know, confessions or something. Hello, Hanson. How are you doing? Hello, Helen. We have the King of Swords. This is our Queen of Cups. This is why we don't pay too close attention to the gender in tarot, because it's energy, not physicality. But this King of Swords is the Queen of Cups, the person who has a truth to tell, the person who has some compassion or empathy. They're telling a story regarding people who lack that compassion or empathy and how they're treating others. It does seem to have a little bit of a spiritual or religious element to it in terms of why these folks are in a group together. That's probably a good thing, right? Not often. I channel better during the day. And especially if I work all day, then, you know, you get kind of tapped out. We've got Temperance. I do every once in a while, though. Just kind of depends on when I start my day. Temperance is talking about balance, but I feel like it's deceptive. It's like, let everyone think it looks great, and from the outside, it's, you know, a good group, or we volunteer, or we're charitable, or look at us, we're like really smart. But on the inside, when you actually find out more about this situation, you realize that there's, how do I say this? There is this choice to ignore things, this choice to separate that doesn't always sit well with people. So there might be a particular group that's coming to the forefront of my mind, but it does seem like there's a little bit of isolationism here. Maybe this would be a good time for me to say that my channel is entertainment purposes only, allegedly. Whatever I'm reading. Hello, Sunday. How are you doing? We've got the Four of Swords and the Seven of Swords in the reverse. I think there's potentially jail time. There could be, you know, tax evasion. There could be fraud with regards to like property ownership. There could be even somebody who's missing. But I do feel like there's mistreatment of individuals and an attempt to keep the business out of prying eyes, right? Whatever that business may be. All right, let's see what else we've got with the Path of Shadows. That's right. So we have the Gargoyle. In stone I'm carved, let alone in the cold, always watching over, protecting stories untold. Yeah, we have secrets and we would like to keep them secret. And we watch out to make sure that nobody is threatening the fact that we would like to keep that secret. Hello, John. How are you doing? Boogeyman. As life unfolds and shadow overpowers light, will my innocence be left untouched? So whatever this group of people is, if you didn't see it at the beginning, this is the first card that came out. This has been about creating some illusion, creating some fear, or like using that fear against whatever they're trying to win against. I don't know, man. This is kind of, they convince these folks what to be afraid of or what to believe in, right? And then they have been unsuccessful with this Queen of Cups, who sees what they're actually doing. It's like, I see the magic or the manipulation that you're using to accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. But this Queen of Cups is fearless. They came out as the King of Swords as well. They've got some truth that they want to share with everyone. So we've got the Mummy. Between the ancient past and the modern world, is there any place where I belong? This Queen of Cups is someone who is looking for a place where they belong, like many others, but they also have a stronger sense of self than the folks that they encounter in this group of people. This is what sets them apart and helps them to see the truth more readily than the folks that are there to just be like, cool, whatever you tell me, I'm going to believe it. We've got abandoned carnival. What once was vibrant remains now silenced and still. This place held laughter, even if now no one could believe. We could have somebody that is joining this group, looking for a place to belong and recognizing that this was something that maybe a long time ago was a very nice place or a very nice way to live, but there's no longer that bold, vibrant energy. It's experiencing a slump, right? A little bit of a depression. This is the situations deck. Hello, Kendrick. Hello, Capo. What's up? Yes, I think that's true, Rachel. What else do we have? Roller coaster, highest high, adrenaline rush. Drastic, extreme, harsh cutoff, and past happened history. So this King of Cups in the reverse, who seems to be kind of an important figure within the group. This is somebody who knows that there's some questionable history or some elements of, the lore that needs to be kept secret. I do feel like there have been good things that they've been able to contribute or positive influences, but there's a darker side that they don't want anybody to know about. I hope it's better now, Mavis. Hello, Siddharth. I will take personal questions at the end if we get to $15 in tips. Hello, G-Vision. We've got drama queen, trash, and commitment. Sometimes the connection between two people drastically changes when you get married, and I think that's what happened here. So I do feel like it's the Queen of Cups who is the spouse referenced in the second card I pulled today. This is somebody who is able to see things very clearly because they were connected to someone very high up in this group of people. They at one point saw things in a very positive light, felt like this King of Cups in the reverse was a very intelligent and wise, compassionate person, but ended up discovering that the individual they'd married was actually someone who likes to cause a lot of drama or likes to make all the decisions. So this could be literally the leader, right? But there's a problem where their patience wears thin and they decide to just cast people aside, or their mood changes very dramatically. So this Queen of Cups has fallen out of love or feels like the relationship that they've gotten into was essentially a fraud, because whoever they marry, it's like they've changed like night and day, become much less loving or affectionate and more focused on what they want, kind of self-absorbed, right? So they were pretending that everything was happy-go-lucky, or they were putting on an act where, we laugh, we have a great time, but once the marriage happens or once the commitment is in place, then whatever they had as far as feelings of contentment seems to evaporate because the person stops pretending. Okay, well, now you're married, you can't leave, right? Hello, Noah, how are you doing? Hey, GP, what's up? Hello, Marcus. How are you doing? Oh, I hope so, but that's not the kind of questions I tackle on my channel. I wonder if there is a, sports fan tarot reader out there, though. We've got bounty hunter and insatiable. So now this person has seen exactly what's going on within this group dynamic, and I feel like they're reporting it or they're sharing this information with the authorities, maybe even saying, I could get you more information. I know where more evidence is. And what they're talking about is a place where garbage is stored, where nobody would really think to look. And this Queen of Cups knows what's there. This is the Egyptian tarot. Are you talking about the lottery? I might have to get it today. I don't know. Should I? I say that and then I never do. Well, I haven't for a long time anyways. Hello, Marine. How are you doing? If you're gonna insult the place, you better spell it right. Hello, Chamberlain. How are you doing? Oh, all you have to do is watch it, Noah. And I do put some pretty effective titles on my videos. So this is somebody who is walking away from a relationship, probably a marriage, and acknowledging that it's not an easy thing to get away from this group or specifically this individual. And they've taken something with them. I feel like it's enough evidence to get some sort of an investigation opened, or at least feel like, okay, I've gotten someone else on the right track. Like they'll do some investigation, right? It is pretty serious, Mavis. Hello, Teodorico. How are you doing? That is not what my gifts are for, sweetheart. We've got Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, Ace of Wands in the reverse, and the Temperance in the reverse. This is something where if I tell the authorities or if I show evidence of, you know, tax evasion or something more serious, then I can maybe put a stop to what I've seen, because there is definitely something that group has been hiding for a long time, and they felt like they had control over the situation until this Queen of Cups comes along. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Adnan. Well, Spyridon. There's a few people. There's a few people in here who've gotten personal readings, I think. But I'll let you judge that, right? I mean, that's fun. I like to mess up names like that sometimes. Hello, Heen. How are you doing? So now we have two aces, the Ace of Swords in the reverse and the Ace of Cups, followed by the Knave or the Page of Pentacles. So even though there is a small amount of evidence, it is legit, or it is enough to pique somebody's interest within the authorities. So I feel like there is an investigation that is opened with the understanding that we really need to get some more before we do anything too crazy, right? So maybe we have enough to get somebody arrested, but if we really want to be smart or strategic about it, we're going to need some more. So I feel like this is somebody who's going to a landfill type area and saying, this is where you're going to find some additional evidence. Yes, this is a general reading, Helen. Ooh, I loved Alaska too, Rachel. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Two of Swords in the reverse. Someone's realizing that there is an item missing. This feels like the King of Cups in the reverse, realizing that along with the disappearance of their partner or the person who is the Queen of Cups, right? That there is an item missing. This could be a record. This could be a phone. This could be a file. but they are worried now. They look at this missing item or this thing that should be somewhere and is not as a telltale sign that the Queen of Cups is probably about to or has already caused some legal issues for this group. Thank you, Rachel. Hello, Rated R. How are you doing? Nine of Swords. They're freaking out. They're sweating bullets. They're like, oh my gosh, I thought we would be like capable of keeping this secret. I thought we had, you know, all our ducks in a row or like bribed the right people and no one would ever be able to, you know, find any evidence on us. You know, I thought we shredded all those papers. They're realizing they let somebody into their ranks that has taken pretty damning evidence on them. I mean, almost always the answer to that is a used car. What depreciates more than a new car driving off the lot? I don't know. A boat? Oh, beloved, we know you're asking for yourself. You can come back in 30 minutes if you want to be more mature, though. You know that's not what we're talking about here. Good luck with that, though. So, Eight of Swords in the reverse and the Ten of Swords in the reverse. Now that I've realized somebody has taken some information, it could mean that I have inadvertently caused like the crumbling of my own little crew here. So they feel like there's no way they can prevent leaking of information or some sort of consequence here because they let somebody in that they probably shouldn't have. So maybe this is an undercover individual. All right, this is the Noisy Tarot. Let's see what else we've got for you. Hello, Madison. How are you doing? It's entirely possible. What else do we have? The Moon. That's the secret. Hermit in the reverse. Nobody been able to figure it out. We've been doing just fine. Nobody was asking any difficult questions. And then the one time we kick somebody out, or the one time we decide to trust this little, you know, I don't know, maybe this is the first time this leader ended up getting married. Maybe this is the first person that had been accepted into their group in a long time. But it's like they're freaking out over, like, how did this happen? Like, we've been so careful for so long, and all of a sudden now there's a person who's got evidence on us. That's what they're doing. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, we've gotten this far and had no troubles. Why is there trouble now? Can we call in any favors? Do we have people that would help us? Do we have something we can do to like discredit this Queen of Cups? If they try that path, it's not going to go very well for them. Well, I don't know if any path is going to go well for them at this point, to be honest. So we have the Lovers card again. Because they have to make a choice. And they're thinking, yes, there's some item missing. Yes, there is some chance that we could be kind of like cooked right now. But maybe what we need to do is just make sure that this Queen of Cups is not like believable, right? Why would you report Rachel, Clint? What'd she do to you? Moderators, moderate. Don't like be disrespectful and you won't get moderated. Hello, Thomas. How are you doing? No, Thomas, because I think that would be misleading. If you believe that you only have one soulmate out there, that is very limiting in terms of you being like captain of your own ship, finding your happiness, right? I do believe we have soulmates, but that we have multiple soulmates. They could be platonic, they could be romantic. But to kind of zero it in like that is very limiting in terms of how you define happiness. So I would never do that. Some people are just touchy, you know? Five of Swords in the reverse. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. I think this is about money that's missing. So maybe the Queen of Cups literally just straight up took some money. I don't think it's that though. I think it's more like financial records. So if they're hiding money or if they're laundering, there's evidence of it. And it's right here. So they know that they're in trouble. Probably a little bit difficult to sleep at night. So we've got the Six of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Whoever made this daring escape or this, you know, collection of evidence. Oh, and the Queen of Cups comes out again. It's our Queen of Cups. How can I say this? I try so hard not to like lose my personality, but also be respectful of the fact that YouTube has like rules about what I can say. This is someone with like balls of steel, okay? If I whisper, I don't think it makes any difference. But this is someone who's like, hey, this is not okay. What you all are doing, I know you think you're like special or no like consequences will come to you, but like, what if I decide to just like bring them to your front doorstep? What if I just go tell everybody what you did? What then? I don't think they expected this Queen of Cups to be all like, dun dun dun, let's tell everybody your business. So they're freaking out. Because for so long, they've been used to things just kind of like working out. They didn't have to work so so hard, right? It's just like, Tommy and public relations has that handled. We're fine, you know? Hello, Karma. How are you doing? So we've got adjudication in the reverse. I feel like this is a group or a person that has been faced with legal consequences before, but not in this way. It's like I'm always able to get away from it or not have to worry about it. And in this situation, it's like, how do I escape the possibilities here that I get in trouble? And they're sweating because they don't think that they can actually avoid the consequences, that maybe their time is actually like up. And now they have to like pay the piper. Oh, I hope you're healing. Sending you abundant energy, Madison. So we've got the main male, number 1, and false person. Yeah, whoever has been able to avoid consequences and is probably the person who we identified as the King of Cups in the reverse, probably married to the Queen of Cups. This person is realizing that their falseness, the mask that they are wearing or have been wearing, has been identified by the Queen of Cups, and that the Queen of Cups also was false. I didn't let you see who I am, right? Ooh, hold on. I know. Is it Chris? You told me how to say it. Thank you. I hope I said it correctly for you. Hello, Co-Create. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Ooh, now we got the main female. I think they're getting a divorce. I think this person's like, I'm out, and as I leave, I'm taking something with me so that you get in trouble. Yeah, I think we have somebody going to jail, you guys. And it's because I was looking for what I thought was going on, and now I have evidence on you. These people have known that you were doing something shady, but they couldn't prove it, and now I have the proof. The question is, though, like, was this person trying to be like a spy the whole time? That's what I need to know. I wanna know. Isn't it always? Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Oh, I hope you can still do some physical therapy medicine. Good morning, Aya. How are you doing? Another hanged man. So this is saying, look, I might have felt like there was a way to like deal with the situation and not get in trouble, but the King of Cups in the reverse is starting to realize that they might actually be in some serious trouble, that they may have kind of met their match with this Queen of Cups, not just because they got married, not just because of that, but because this person might be smarter than they expected. This person might be able to actually serve up that karma that the King of Cups in the reverse has been avoiding for so long. Yeah, I mean, when you've got proof, there's not much you can do, right? This is someone who's nervous because they know the Queen of Cups has this proof or this evidence, something that's missing, and they don't know how to handle it. Ace of Wands or Ace of Cloaks in the reverse. And the Ace of Batlets. What I'm hearing is, not censored, but I effed up. I effed up really bad. I can't believe I let this person in. I can't believe that, you know, I trusted them. And now they're going to be out here with some truth that is very damaging. I do think that they're questioning if this is about to result in some jail time. Or maybe even like a court case that gets drawn out and ugly. Page of Cloaks or the Page of Wands in the reverse, and the King of Cloaks or the King of Wands. So now that I've got this bad news, now that I've been made aware that somebody else has information on me that is not very flattering, what am I going to do? They're trying to decide, like, am I going to go, like, double down on the villain side? Or am I going to, like, I don't know, just kind of go quietly into that good night? Is that what it is? I think it is. This is my favorite card. I love her. Deanna Troy's mom, Luoxana. This is a delight. She, like, does things her own way, right? This is our Queen of Cups energy. Again, does not have to mean that this is a woman, but this is somebody who, it's like a very bold and lovable character, but also a bit of a chameleon. Because what I remember about Luoxana is that she was a different type of energy almost every time you saw her in a new episode. And there was one time where she was getting married. It might have actually been this time. And she was trying to balance her own customs with that of her soon-to-be husband. So it does feel to me like this was someone who was trying to, you know, become a part of this group, but they also had a very definite sense of self. This is who I am. I'm not going to change that for anyone. And whatever you're doing over there, it's weird. I don't like it. So makes sense, right? This would be the type of energy that would want to maybe even risk a lot in order to make sure that the truth comes out. Hello, Patrick. Happy Friday. Hello, Laugh At It. My email address is in the description box for you. So we've got the Eight of Wands or Eight of Cloaks. Communication about money. I think this is about wire transfers or financial documents. Here's the real books. Here's what was really going on in terms of the money. And when you know what's going on in terms of money, you can usually put together a pretty solid story that aligns with the truth, right? Generally. So I feel like this is financial records. Thank you, Rachel. Happy Friday, the monkey. How you doing? Hello, Payal. How are you doing? Three of Batleths, or the Three of Swords in the reverse, and the Two of Pentacles. Who can I pay to make this go away? Who can I bribe? Who do I have to bribe to make this stop being a problem for me? So this is someone who feels like they have the money to fix whatever they need to fix, right? And I don't know that that's going to work in this situation. When you encounter people with real morals and integrity, they're not going to just sell that to you, right? Entirely possible, co-create. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing? And the Three of Starships, or the Three of Cups in the reverse. So we know what's going on and we don't like it. Whatever they were trying to keep secret is no longer secret, and I do feel like there's somebody, maybe even more than one person, who ends up going to jail because of this situation. Wait, why do you need the wings though, Namaste? No, you aren't, James. You're there. We got Burrow, number 25. Exhaustion, lack of energy, questioning. Ooh, it's one thing. Sorry. Questioning motivations and realignment. So now I figured out who you are, and now I can also prove it to others. And that's what's making the King of Cups in the reverse nervous. Feeling like they have to show no emotion, show no reaction. But that's also what the Queen of Cups was doing, using that stoicism to avoid letting people know that they were on to what was going on, or that they had discovered what was really happening. Blood Moon, number 8. Illusion, uncertainty, confusion, secrets, egotism, and narcissism. So we could have a narcissist with that King of Cups in the reverse. But there is obviously a pack dynamic here, right? We've got to protect each other, even if it gets a little bit hairy, a little bit scary. This is the Crow Tarot. Yeah, thank you for liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Five of Cups, the Nine of Swords in the reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles, with the Six of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this is some immature behavior that was kept away from, you know, the public, away from prying eyes. But I do feel like there are people who just wanted a place to belong. They've just kind of like looked the other way. And then we have others who, this is like of their making. They enjoy being immature. They enjoy being stuck. They enjoy being deceptive or manipulative. Awesome. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Knight of Wands. So because this truth comes out after a long period of feeling like they've been able to keep things under lock and key, there's a lack of leadership. It's like, wow, that's and a little bit of a creepy analogy, but what I saw was the idea that a long time ago, theaters, if there was a fire, were a pretty hazardous place to be. And now when I think of being in like a theater or, you know, a venue, there's clearly marked exits and you know where to go. If you didn't have that, you'd have a lot of chaos and running around, right? This is what I'm seeing is because we haven't really been worried about people figuring out what's going on, or because we've been able to keep the secret for so long, when that secret comes out, all of a sudden we're like, we don't have a plan. We don't know what to do. Oh my God, what? Like, there's no clear plan. There's no individual who seems to be like guiding everyone on what to say or how to feel or what to do. So it makes the problem even more worse or even more challenging for them. Hello, Mavis. Hello, Angel. Hey, Thomas. I sometimes do that at the end of the general readings if we reach $15 in tips. That would be cool. 9 of Cups in the reverse. Selfishness, greed. I feel like there's money that's been stolen, embezzled, or laundered. Page of Wands. And now we have this Queen of Cups is telling everybody, here's what I found, here's the evidence. And there's more of it over there. They know where to find more information. They just don't have access to it. So it's like, I've brought you this little like nugget of information, but there's more right here. I just probably can't do it by myself. Like, y'all gonna have to handle that, okay? Yeah. This is making the King of Cups in the reverse question, do I go and move whatever I need to? Do I try to, you know, shred some more documents or hide some more things because they feel that they're under investigation and the walls are like closing in for them, right? What do we want? We'll go with the Tattoo Tarot. Hey, Key Controller, how you doing? Hello, IJA. Could you be just a little bit less creepy? I don't know if that's gonna be programmable, you know? We have the Magician and the Six of Cups. And the Six of Swords in the reverse. I know at one point I loved you, but now that I know who you really are, I'm going to tell the whole world. I'm going to make sure everybody knows what you were getting into. Good for you, Gnostic. That's awesome. Hello, Hot. How are you doing? Hello, DNA. What else do we have? Three of Wands in the reverse, King of Swords in the reverse, and the Eight of Wands. So unfortunately, we have somebody that gets a little bit overly confident when they respond to allegations or questions, when it starts to become clear that someone is maybe using some pretty legitimate source or has evidence as to what's been going on. I do feel like this King of Cups in the reverse, King of Swords in the reverse gets caught up in a lie. They just don't expect to have to answer certain questions or don't expect things to actually unravel because they've been held together for so long, right? I'm glad to hear that. I am, thank you. So Queen of Cups, oh, sorry, Five of Swords, Queen of Cups in the reverse, Seven of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. I do think that this is the investigation that actually catches this King of Cups in the reverse. They may have been able to walk away from multiple previous quandaries or investigations, but at this point now they're not able to talk their way out of it or throw somebody else under the bus or make it seem like something that it wasn't. It's quite clear where the money comes from or what's been going on because of those financial records that have been shared. So, womp, womp, womp. Hello, Attila. How are you doing? This is the Energy Oracle. What else do we have? Fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel, appreciation, and woman holding a heart. So there was protective energy around this Queen of Cups as they were, you know, getting involved with this King of Cups in the reverse, which could say that for some situations, we're talking about somebody who is going into this knowing they would probably encounter some danger or some illegality, right? But for many of you, this is someone who fell in love and thought that they had found a great place for them to be, or like finally might belong somewhere, only to realize that the person they were dealing with had been disingenuous about who they really are, having to kind of have a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes moment and figure out what they were up against or who they had actually married. Isn't there actually like a show called that? Who the did I marry? I gotta be careful out there, guys. All right, what else do we have? Shocking, turmoil, trouble, unexpected, and beauty. So I do feel like this Queen of Cups is attractive. Could be a man, right? Men are attractive sometimes too, you guys. But there is somebody here who I think kind of charmed their way into this crew or into this group. People were so focused on how attractive they were, how great the words coming out of their mouth sounded, that they didn't really do too much of a background check, or they didn't do justice to it. They wanted to believe that this was somebody that would belong with them. And as a result, this Queen of Cups was able to find out a lot very quickly. So we've got opportunity on this card. This could be someone who had tried this before. This could be a police department that had tried this before. But there was an opportunity to get this King of Cups in the reverse to, I think, spill the beans because they fall in love with someone. Realizations. So now we see what you're actually doing, what you've been hiding, but it's also because the King of Cups in the reverse is realizing that that Queen of Cups knows a lot and that they may not really have any course of action to avoid consequences at this point. Hey Kimmy, this is a general. Hello Desert, how's it going? Emotional storm, very similar to the shocking card, right? We had turmoil on that one. This has turmoils, unstable, and affected. So they're losing the composure that was pretty characteristic for them. This King of Cups in the reverse is starting to show that they actually have a lot of concerns, or that they may be, you know, really cooked at this point. They're trying to find a different way out, or blame someone else, or justify what has happened. But I don't feel like it's working out for them because of the evidence that financially like puts them at the scene, right? Maybe. So elusive, dishonesty, deception, and trickery. Sometimes people who lie all day long forget that other people can lie too. So it's almost like this Queen of Cups was able to gain access to the King of Cups in the reverse just by reflecting back their own obsession with themselves. I do feel like mirroring was a big part of this. And maybe it wasn't love at all for this Queen of Cups. But they knew exactly how to play this King of Cups because of, I think, probably some self-absorbed or narcissistic energy that, you know, maybe sometimes it makes them feel like they're protected, but it also puts them at risk. You know how to deal with that, right? Hello, Statue. How you doing? Hello, Assam. How you? All right, y'all. I'm going to go eat. I love you. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I will see you on the next video.